This is section 12.2. We're going to be talking about measures of central tendency. First thing we're going to talk about is the mean. The mean is the sum of the data items divided by the number of items. Don't worry about this formula. This looks more complicated than it is. You guys know how to find the mean. You add them up and divide by the number of numbers you have. In example 1, find the mean age of these male singers at the time of their first #1 single. So you're going to add up these numbers here and divide by, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 numbers. So add them up and divide by 10, which you should know how to do because you should have done this many times before. Mean age or average age is 15.9. If you have a frequency distribution, which is what we did in the last section, frequency distribution, you have to be careful when you're finding the mean. Okay, yes, again, we have a formula. I think this will make more sense when I show you an example. This symbol right here, this what looks like an E, means add them up. So what that says is multiply whatever the number is times how often it occurs, and then add them up and divide by the number of numbers you have. Be very careful when you're finding the mean for frequency distribution. A lot of students get this wrong, not because they don't know how, but they don't think about what they're doing. So, for example, we have student stress level ratings. Okay. This is the stress rating, and this is how often it occurs. So, what a frequency table does is make it so that you don't have to write out 2 zeros. But what actually is here is 2 zeros. So I actually have a 0 and another 0. This means I only have 1 1, but this means I have 3 2's. So 2, 2. So when you're actually adding these numbers up, be careful what you add up. This says I have 2 zeros, so you can add 0 plus 0, plus 1, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, meaning the 3 2's. Well, I've got 12 3's. You can do plus 3, plus 3, plus 3 12 times, or if you think about it, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3 12 times is the same thing as 3 times 12, which is 36. So when you're doing the mean, or the average for frequency distribution, be very careful. The numbers that you're going to be adding up come from this column right here, where you multiply these two numbers together, because this tells you how many of these you have, which tells you what you have to multiply by. So I'm going to add up these numbers right here, and I'll get 975. The other thing students have trouble with is when they divide by what to divide by. Again, be careful. Students are just randomly adding up numbers and trying to divide them. I have 2 zeros, I've got 1 1, I've got 3 2's. If you add up this column right here, that will tell you how many numbers you have, how many of these you have. So 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 12 plus 16 plus 18, 13, 31, 26, 15, and 14. If you add these up, it will give you 151. And again, these numbers added up will be the 975. Divide, and you get 6.46. When you're doing mean, one of the rare instances where I do want a decimal. The median is the middle, but you have to be careful. Again, you have to be careful. The numbers have to be in order. So first thing you do when you find the median is arrange the numbers in order from smallest to largest. Then you find the middle number. Middle number. Now you have to be careful here. if there's an odd number of numbers, there actually is a middle number. So let's suppose I have the numbers 1, 5, and 36. I've got three numbers. The middle number would be 5. Not a problem. If the number of items is even, so now let's suppose I've got 1, 5, 36, and 72. Notice there's no middle number. I actually have two numbers that are in the middle. To find the median, when you have an even number of numbers, you add the two middle numbers and divide by 2. So essentially what you're doing is find the average of the two middle numbers. So find the median. So what we're going to do first is put the numbers in order from smallest to largest. So I have an 84, and then 88, 90, 95, and 98. And if you count up the number of numbers, you've got 5 numbers, which is an odd number, so there actually is a middle number. So easiest way is to cross out top and bottom, cross out top and bottom. Middle number is 90, so the median is 90. Oops, there we go. All right, a few more numbers. Again, we have to put them in order from smallest to largest. So 7. Let's see, we've got a 7, we've got a 13, 15, 25, 28, 34, 47, 68, nope, 59, 68, and 74. I'm going to count up the number of numbers you have. You have 10 numbers, so which is an even number of numbers. So you got to find the two middle numbers. So 7 and 74, 13 and 68, and 25 and 47. The two middle numbers are going to be 28 and 34. So to find the actual middle number, the median, you're going to add them up and divide by 2. So we have 62 divided by 2 gives you a median of 31. This is another way of finding the median. You would only use this if you have too many scores to write out. Using 13 scores really isn't a good example. You would use this probably if you had 300 scores. Okay, so you would use this formula, n plus 1 divided by 2, only if you had too many numbers to actually write out. So this formula right here tells us the position of the median, where the middle number is. Okay, so if I have 13 scores, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 13 plus 1 and divide that by 2. 13 plus 1 is 14. Divided by 2 gives me 7. What this says is the 7th number in my list is going to be my median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th number in the list is the median. Median is going to be 147. Remember this frequency distribution table, we had 151 data items. Okay, so this would be a case where you wouldn't want to write out every single number to find the middle one. So we know that if we take 151 and add 1, and then divide by 2, this tells us the position of the median. So the 76th number in our list will tell us where the median is. Now you have to figure out what that means as far as a frequency distribution table. What this says right here is that the first two numbers are going to be 0. Okay? This tells me that the next number is going to be a 1. So far, I've had two numbers, which are 0, and a third number, which is 1. The next three numbers are going to be 2. So I've had, let me erase some of that. I've had 3 numbers so far, and I have 3 more numbers. So altogether, so far, I've had 6 numbers. That doesn't get me anywhere close to the 76th number. I've got 12 more numbers, so far my 18th number is going to be a 3. I've got 16 more numbers, so my 34th number is going to be a 4. Remember, I'm looking for the 76th number. If I have 18 more numbers, or in other words, my 52nd number is going to be a 5. I've got 13 more numbers. I've got my 65, my 65th number is going to be a 6. I've got 31 more numbers. So my 65th number is going to be a 6. Let me erase some of that. My 65th number is going to be a 6. The next number is going to be a 7. So my 66th number is a 7. My 67th, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76th number is still going to be a 7 because I know that my 96th number is still going to be a 7. So that means my 76th number, or my median, has to be 7. Can you write out 151 numbers? Sure. Or you can do it this way. Your choice. 5 employees in a manufacturing plant earn salaries: $19,000, $20,000, $21,000, $22,000, $23,000. Section manager has an annual salary of $95,000. Find the median. Remember, they have to be in order, and we have 6 people, so we're going to have 2 middle numbers. They're actually already in order, so the 2 middle numbers are going to be 21,500 and 22,600. So to find the median, we would add those up, 22,600, and divide by 2. And I'm going to cheat and see what that number is. So the median is going to be 22,050. Next says find the mean. Well, to find the mean, you're going to add up the numbers. So let's come back here so I can see the numbers. Going to add up these 5 plus this one and divide by 6. And again, since I already know that's in my slide, I'm going to cheat. You add up all 6 numbers, divide by 6 because there are 6 numbers, and the mean is going to give us 33,700. The mode, that's the number that occurs most often. Now, with the mean, there's always going to be a mean. Whatever your number said, you're always going to have a mean. Median, you're also always going to have a median. Mode, you're not necessarily going to have. If there's no repeats, no repeated data items, there's no mode. If something repeats, if 2 different data items repeat, then you're going to have two modes, or repeat the same number of times. So if I have 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3, and 7, the 2's and the 3's repeat the same number of times. There would be two modes, 2 and 3. So find the mode. Well, I've got two 7's, nothing else repeats, so the mode is going to be 7. For B, no repeaters, so there's no mode. I've got two 3's, two 6's, there's the same number of 3's, same number of 6's, so there's going to be two modes, both 3 and 6. There is a name for that when you have two modes. That's actually called bimodal. Not something I'm really going to worry about, but there is actually a name for that when you have two modes. Three modes is trimodal. D-A-L. Trimodal, three modes. Last one we're going to talk about is the mid-range. Notice I did not say range. This is not the same thing as range. This is the mid-range. It uses a different formula. To find the mid-range, you take the smallest number, you take the highest number, add them together, and divide by 2. Mid-range, smallest number, largest number, add them together, and divide by 2. This is not the same thing as range. Be careful. 2006, largest payroll of 194 million. Worst paid team, smallest payroll is 14 million. And find the mid-range. So you're going to take the smallest number, which is your 14,500,000, and add your largest payroll, 194. See if I can actually fit this in here. 663, 100. Add those two together. Divide by 2. And again, rather than taking the time to actually add those in my head or using a calculator, I know that this is already in the spreadsheet. So when you add those two numbers, you get 209 million. Divide by 2. Mid-range is 104,830,800. Homework 4 through 64.